Mr. Cannon, it is day 10 of the main event tonight, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, the final day of the final table. 3 people left.
Did you watch any of the final table so far?
Yeah, so actually I watched starting when there were 6 people left last night.
You had plans last night, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And no, I haven't in the recent years, but I have watched a lot of the coverage leading up to that, starting with like day 4 or 5.
Yeah, yep.
And yeah, it's been enjoyable. I mean, there are a lot of really interesting spots. You know, you can see a lot of really good play, but you can also see some kind of fishy play here and there. Like,
that's what makes the main event so great.
It is. Well, and it's funny, you know, for me as someone who does this full time, like looking back to 10, 15 years ago when I would, even if I wasn't watching them at the time, like I would go back and watch the final table or watch some coverage of the main event. And it didn't really occur to me that some players just were playing horribly, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, as you get better, you notice. You
notice stuff.
Yeah. You notice the play. I mean, because you were horrible as well then. So
yeah.
That's why you don't notice it.
Absolutely.
I've always been, I've watched the main event every year since I was a teenager, starting with my dad back when Moneymaker won it. Every year after that, we would just sit there and watch it. I will say, you know, I'm kind of torn. People have the argument of which style they preferred, like the November 9 format or this. I prefer this in terms of watching and studying and you just get more content out of the live streaming days, like the modern days now. But what I miss about the November 9 format is how, you know, there'd be a few month break in between the final table and when it was set, right? Excuse me a moment. So what I loved about that was, you know, they would edit these episodes during that 3-month period to create story arcs for these characters, these players, that you would start to, you know, you'd start to root on specific people that you had no idea prior to that. And then by the time the final table comes, you got these specific people you're rooting for, which we still do, obviously, to this day. We have people we root for. But I don't know. I felt more invested in those November 9 days now than I do in the players specifically.
Yeah, I remember feeling that way too. Like I was disappointed when they decided to change it back. Now I think in terms of the actual tournament, it makes a lot more sense to just play the final table right away. I mean, they know that they have a day off, which is good, but
I agree with you completely. It hyped it up a bit more. I missed that, but again, I prefer this method better in terms of like I get to watch a lot more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, today we're going to get into it a little bit. We're going to talk about the main event. I think we're going to start off with some hands starting on day 6. You got a couple pre-final table hands. I have a couple final table hands we'll get into, and we'll just discuss the main event, and it's all of its glory and beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. So
there's been some really crazy things happen. I know anyone who's listening to this is probably caught up and heard about a lot of these hands, so we're going to give our opinions on them and just talk about, the storylines that have developed so far. Wes, anything else you want to bring up before we get into some of these hands?
No. Let's hop into the first one here. Like you said, the first hand I have is from the end of day 6. In fact, I think it's literally the last hand of the day or maybe second to last.
Of day 6. How many people left?
So at this point, it was probably 50, 52, I don't know, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And...
Oh, hey, before we get into this hand, let's give a shout out.
All right. We're talking main event.
Yeah, to our boy Hoffy's 11.
Yeah, Jason Hoffman. Hoffy's 11 in the Discord. I think that's also his name on Global.
Yeah, we battle with this. He's a young gun. He's been making his mark in the local scene lately, and then he just fires the main and gets. I don't even know what place he got. It was
he made I think 42nd place.
Yeah, so he made day 7 of the main event, right?
Yeah,
so
$250,000.
Just a cool $250,000.
Wow!
Congrats to you, Jason. I love to see that. You and your boys have been killing it lately, and yeah, man. I just as someone who's gone through the the ropes or however the saying goes. It's just cool to see these young grinders come out and just bank big ones right out of the gate. I know they grind hard, so
yeah. I mean, he just played his heart out. Like he was on the stream for day 7, and there weren't many hands, but he got a double early, and he ended up busting all in pre-flop. He had kings versus nines, and the guy just hits a 9.
Just flops a 9. Yeah, I mean, what was that, like a 14 million pot or something like that?
Yeah, 15, maybe 16. I think he had
25-ish.
He had between 7 and 8. Yeah, because big blind was 250. Yeah, it was. I want to say 30, or maybe the big blind was 300K at that point.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but it was probably a decent stack. It was to have, I would assume, somewhere between 40 and 50 big blinds, maybe slightly over. Anyways, congrats to you, Jason. That is super sick. We love. I mean, the last Minnesotan standing. It's a spot we all dream of. So congrats on that.
Yeah, good call.
Let's get into it.
Glad you made that call out there. So the first hand. Yeah, it's so the big blind. The blinds are 100K, 200K with a 200K big blind ante here. 2 hands left in the day, maybe just one, and it folds to Kristen Foxen on the button, and she has ace of clubs, deuce of spades. She opens the 400K. Steven Song in the big blind calls with king 8 of clubs. And he is going to be the effective stack here, starting with, once he makes the call, he has about 3.4 million.
So, what is that, 18 big or something?
17 bigs after the call. So he started with, 19.
And how deep was she?
Quite a bit deep. Like, she probably had 40 or 50 bigs at this point. Yeah, she had substantially more.
All right, so 2 absolute legends, heads up in a pot.
Yeah,
Kristen on the button.
Now, did Steven Song win GPI Player of the Year a couple years ago?
I believe he did. I would have to go and look that up, but I know I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, he's been slaying it for a couple years now.
He has, yeah. And has Kristen won that too?
I think she might have won either female player.
Well, I think she's won that 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
So, I want to say she has won the full GPI.
So we have GPI Player of the Year versus GPI Player of the Year.
Or at the very least, I know she's been ranked number 1 at some. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways, close enough. Both legends.
I don't know all the stats on GPI, but anyways,
GPI, for those who aren't familiar, is Global Poker Index. It's a worldwide ranking for tournament players throughout the year. You get GPI points for each cash, and then as typically the people who you see at the top are the high rollers.
Yep. And honestly, neither one of these really play in the high rollers. Neither one of these.
Not the super high rollers.
Not the super high
I mean,
rollers.
Kristen will play in some of the higher stuff. Steven, I think he'll probably play 25Ks.
Okay.
Maybe 50Ks. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, so as a reminder, Foxen opens the button with ace of clubs, deuce of spades, and Song calls in the big blind with king 8 of clubs. He's the effective stack with about 3.4 million here. And we go to a flop of king of diamonds, jack of hearts, 5 of diamonds. So king, jack, 5, 2 diamonds, 1 heart.
Steven flops top pair?
Yep. Okay. He's got top pair, and then Foxen just has the overcard. Not much going here.
We call that dust.
Yeah, pretty dusty.
Yeah.
So he checks.
I don't remember this hand, but I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that she C bets here.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes
so
sense.
So pot's 1.1 million. What are you thinking on sizing?
What was the pot? You said 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
And it was king jack 5 monotone.
2 diamonds.
2 diamonds. Yeah. Or not monotone, but 2-tone. King jack 1.1. I'm gonna say against his size,
His stack size.
I'm going to guess she bets 280K.
Yeah, 300. You're so far off.
Okay, nice. Let's go.
And to be fair, they actually might not have 5K chips, so it might be denominations of 25K.
Okay, 275K.
Yeah,
okay.
So 300, you're off by 1 green chip.
Yep.
I remember when I was watching this hand, I was sort of expecting Song to check raise kind of small here. Because button versus big blind, her range can be so wide.
It's wide for sure.
And there are some draws, and this is a hand that's
he doesn't mind just getting it in on this flop.
With his stack.
Open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sub 20. Fine. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind it either. But potentially, maybe he thinks that her range is wide enough to where this board favors her enough, and she'll double barrel a lot if he just calls. So whereas he might lose value by raising and just getting hands specifically such as hers to fold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like she'll know to keep bluffing on some runouts, and therefore he has top pair, so he can keep calling.
Right on.
So he calls. Pot is 1.7 million, and the turn is.
So he's got what? He's got less than pot left already behind.
No.
What
He
did
has 3.1 million.
Oh, 3.1.
He started with 3.4
Yeah.
after the call.
Yep.
So the turn's the 3 of spades. Complete brick. I mean, Kristen does
So
pick
it's
up a
3,
gutter.
5, king, jack, 2 diamonds.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think
She's got a wheel draw as well now. Okay.
Yep. So she's got 7 outs, and Steven decides to check again. I think anything else would be really bizarre.
Yeah, agreed.
And so is Kristen. What are you thinking now?
Again, I mean, kind of going with my initial thought from a minute ago here, I want to apply pressure to his stack specifically. I'm not going to, so there's 1.8 in the middle, you said?
1.7.
And how much exactly does he have behind now? Trying to hold this all together.
3.4. So, or sorry, he has 3.1 after the
3.77. I would like to see her bet like, okay, Again, I'm not no GPI player of the year, but I would like to see like a 1.2 and then give up rivers.
Interesting. Okay, so the 1.2 you're kind of hoping to.
I'm sizing up here, just trying to get jacks to fold and 5s to fold.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so 1.2 would be kind of like.
Plus, then you're still not committed to, if he calls, I think it's easy to give up rivers that don't give us the wheel.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So my thought is like, I think I'm of 2 minds. I don't mind a bet. I would maybe.
You just want to keep it small here or what?
Not that small. Like I want to fold out a 5, but also I could just see checking here because he can have some like queen 10, queen 9, some diamonds, some stuff we're like ahead of. Let's say the river is another 3 or. It's like the 8 of spades. Like we could do some bluff catching even with ace high here.
What if he just has like 8, 9 of diamonds here? That's another hand I'd be targeting with the 1.2 bet just to get that hand to fold.
Yeah, like it does have 15 outs against us, and it would suck if he just check jammed it. But also at this point, it's really hard to just check jam as a bluff for your tournament life in general.
This deep in the main specifically.
Yeah. Which ironically
is
is how she ended up going out.
I was going to say, we clearly know that these players are not afraid to make these moves this deep in the main.
So I think, yeah.
What did you...
I can see.
Yeah, so...
I can see both.
Okay, what do you... Well, first off, before you tell me what it was, what do you think of my action, potentially?
Yeah. I think...
Logical
I like the logic. I think you can get away with doing a slightly smaller bet.
Okay.
Just because his stack is
like what, 850?
Yeah, maybe $1 million. I would say $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what does she end up betting?
So she bets 900K, which maybe I've seen the hand, so that probably sort of justifies that sort of biases my thinking a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it makes sense. She's setting it up where if he calls, the pot's can be 3.5 and he'll have about 2/3 pot behind. And so it's an easy jam where not that she will or won't necessarily jam, but it's a stack to pot ratio where like she should still have some fold equity. For this size, she can I definitely think she's folding out a 5.
Okay. Agreed.
And regardless, like maybe he has some combo draw that she's ahead of, but she'll get to win against that on brick runouts one way or another. And
so she bets 900. Does he just stuffs it here?
Nope. He calls.
I wonder if this is still this is just to keep her bluffs in.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I thought. Like I was not surprised that he just called the turn. But I was more expecting him to check raise the flop. But once he calls flop, I'm not that surprised about the turn. And
Okay.
He'll just kind of My thought here is we can just call a lot of rivers because
We're not really worried about too many rivers. What's the worst rivers? Like an ace?
An ace sucks, 10 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds.
Yeah, any diamond or ace.
I guess, there are a lot of potentially problematic rivers, but like...
Against a button range, though, like we're just still not too worried about it.
Yeah, there's, it's not too condensed. Like, I'm thinking in general, her bluffs are going to be... There's going to be some diamonds and like queen 10, 10, 9, queen 9. Obviously, ace deuce.
Not a lot of
maybe
reason
ace
to
4.
deny equity and then also value owner self. So I like it. Okay. So, I mean, so he calls. Pot is
3.5. 3.5 million.
3.5, and he's got like 2.4 now?
Yeah, I think it's 2.3.
Okay, 2.3. Okay.
So, yeah, just around
I feel like it's
two-thirds.
always a check on the river as well. Well, actually, what's the river?
So the river is a deuce of hearts. So Fox
Gives her
and
bottom pair.
Yeah, Fox and pairs up. So she, at this point is that she can beat all the complete even like the ace high flush draw, which I don't know if he'll have many ace X. A lot of it will have jammed pre-flop.
Right.
But regardless, so yeah, song he decides to check, I think obviously makes sense to play in flow.
Does she have enough showdown value here with the deuce now?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. As I was watching, I was thinking maybe she would. But also I think there's so for example, we could be up against Jack X of diamonds or maybe even 3X of diamonds. So like a 3X of diamonds is going to snap fold the river. Jack X of diamonds will probably also fold the river. And the nice thing about her ace deuce is she does not like, it's good to not have a diamond for her because you're looking for a song to have.
Yeah.
Diamonds will make
you
the easiest
unblock
fold.
the diamonds, right?
Yep. And so she decides to go all in, and you just banged your elbow on something,
Mother
dude.
trucker. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So, yeah, she decides to shove, and
She turns into a bluff. Okay.
yeah, which I think makes sense. Like,
I mean, she's already been bluffing the entire way, but
Yeah.
besides pre-flop.
right, yeah, and so. Yeah, it's a good reminder that when you have, just because you have like maybe bottom pair or ace high or something, it doesn't always mean that you actually do have showdown value.
Right.
And I think
she's well aware of that if anybody is.
Exactly.
And she's not targeting to get a king to fold here.
No,
It's specifically a jack and a 5.
Yeah, and probably more specifically a jack, like a 5 probably folds turn, but there's also the 3X of diamonds combos. If he has something like queen 3 of diamonds,
Is a jack, considering the SPR, is a jack still obligated to call here? Being that a lot of shit missed.
It's probably at the point where it's sort of indifferent. I haven't thrown it in any sort of solver tool.
I feel like Steven might find a call with a jack here.
So
he's good enough to, at least.
He definitely is good enough, but would you say then that the king is just a mandatory call off? Probably.
That's what I'm thinking, and I also think that if he plans on calling, if he ends up calling that turn bet, and we get a brick river as we did, he's going to be calling all jack X's as well. After, say he called the turn with a jack, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of my thought too. I think a king is like a easy call, especially if you've gotten to this point and all the stuff missed. Like,
yeah.
Not only can she still have a bunch of bluffs, but it means that she could be targeting your missed stuff. Like, as Steven, one thing, and this reminds me of my own thought process on a hand that we talked about recently, but it's like, yeah, he doesn't beat much, if any, value. I don't know if she jams like king 6, king 7 suited and whatnot.
Right.
But
yeah, it's a bluff catcher.
It's definitely a bluff catcher almost always. But you also can look at it from his perspective. He's like, well, I can have all sorts of jacks. I can have 3X of diamonds. I can have other diamonds. I can have queen 10. Like, these are all hands I can fold. And what other hands am I... Like, it feels like you just have to make the call with any king against
Yeah.
the player who
Yeah.
can bluff, which is what I expected him to do. And then he starts going deep in the tank.
Did he really? Okay.
Yeah, and he said something about he felt like he had sort of manifested this, or I don't know, like he just felt like he was gonna bust at the end of day 6 or something. And this might come into play here. Is there were 2 hands earlier where he bluffed off a ton of chips, and at least one of them I don't think that was that great of a spot.
I mean, Steven is known for being hyper aggro.
Yeah, and he had the chip lead after day 4. He had a ton of chips after day 5, and he was doing great for most of day 6. And then he kind of had fallen off, and I think mentally he sort of felt like he was just going to get stacked here. And so,
I mean, I resonate with that. Like, you know, like you have those thoughts in the back of your head sometimes, where you just feel like, you know what I'm saying? You just get that thought in the back of your head. So I understand where he's at.
yeah, so he actually ended up folding it.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was funny. I was watching the stream, and it showed Fox and raking in the pot, and she sort of was like, trying not to smirk. Like she could tell she got away with. Like I think if she sees his hand, she's never going for the bluff.
No,
she's never trying to fold out a king. It's like a jack or 3x of diamonds or something.
I mean, hey, I'm not going to judge him. It's Steven's song. He's a killer. So
he is, and he even said in the moment, like, I guess I'm going to make a really dumb fold or something like that.
And we know that, like, you know, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're not going to play perfect all the time. You're going to make mistakes. And especially in the validity of a moment such as 50 or less left in the main event, you haven't probably slept much over the past 7 days. Like, there's a lot of, you've made decisions nonstop every day and these, these high pressure situations. So, that's okay. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's easy. I mean, we can be keyboard warriors all day, as they say, and just be like, what are you doing? But,
I mean, if she just has the value bet king queen, then he looks like a genius to the keyboard warriors. And
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Nice hand. I like that hand. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's move on to your second hand.
Yes.
All right, second hand.
So the second hand is, to be fair, it's a massive cooler, but it's also an interesting spot for a lot of decisions in the hand by different players. So
okay,
we've reached the final 10, so the unofficial final table.
Yeah, that's So essentially, what happens is all these main events and tournaments like this, where the final table is typically 9-handed. Mm-hmm. So they call it an unofficial final table because there's 10 people. But the reason they put 10 people at one table compared to 5 at each, well, actually, why don't they just do 5 at each? Is it just for pace of play?
Probably. I mean, they could do hand for hand, 5 hand.
Yeah, they could do hand for hand or to switch it. So yeah. So anyways, they just stuff 10 people at the final table, and then you're at the unofficial final table. Whereas when that 10th person busts, then you're at the official final table.
Correct.
You know, most of you know that, but you know me.
Yeah.
Over-explainer.
So we got blinds are 800K, 1.6 million with a 1.6 million big blind ante. So under the gun 10-handed, Griff.
Yep. He's the amateur at the table.
Yeah.
His highest score, I was looking him up a little bit, his highest score ever was 18,000.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And as people listen to this, he could be the champion because as we're recording, he's one of the final 3.
Yeah, he's one of the final 3. Let me see here. I had more information on him. He's, $47,000 in poker earnings.
Man.
And now he's one of the final 3.
Now he's got at least 4 million more.
He's got 4 million locked up.
That's insane.
Just one tournament. It's all it takes, Wes.
Yeah.
That's why we grind day in, day out. So, anyways.
So he opens with pocket 5s, under the gun 10-handed. There's actually an argument just to fold this. Early position and the small pairs, a lot of the times you just want to get rid of. He is in pretty good.
How deep was he?
He started the hand with about 80-something million.
Okay.
Around 80 million.
He's very deep.
Yeah, he's got 50 bigs. Although the guy in the big blind, Sirac, he at this point is the chip leader.
Okay.
So he's got everyone covered. So that's an argument.
And Joe's a solid player.
Yeah, he is. Wasn't he like WPT player of the year?
2012 WPT Player of the Year. I remember
Yeah.
watching. So I used to watch that all the time back when he won Player of the Year. I watched every single episode of the WPT that year because I was a super poker nerd then. But I remember thinking how quirky that dude was, and he was dating one of the Royal Flush girls at the time, and he was just like kind of like a nerdy dude.
Yeah.
And I remember on his Twitter, he posted, or like on his title, or not his title, but his like, you can type like what people usually put like professional poker player. What do you call that?
Bio.
The bio, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll call it the bio. But he got the hottest girl in the game wearing my chain. And he's so dorky. I thought that was funny, and to this day I still remember that. But she's a Royal Flush girl. Anyways,
That's funny.
anyway, so yeah, he's in the big blind with chip lead. We have Griff, who opens under the gun with 5-5. You said,
Yep. It folds to the small blind, who is, he online known as Lena 900.
Osted. Yep, Nicholas.
Osted. Yeah, he is the most successful online tournament player ever.
Apparently he's widely, I'm familiar with Lena, his username, and I've seen him on streams and stuff, but never seen him live, and didn't recognize that he was who that was for a while there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also didn't realize until probably day 7. And so, anyways, he's in the small blind with 2 7s. He calls, and Sirac in the big blind, he's the chip leader. He defends with 8-7 offsuit.
Sorry, Osted had what again?
7s.
7s, okay.
So 5 7s and 8-7 off.
Okay.
So the pot now is...
Wasn't it 8-7 suited spades?
Nope.
No, it wasn't? Okay.
It was diamond heart.
Diamond heart, okay.
Yeah. So the pot now is 11.2.
Yep.
The flop comes 9-6-5. So we got bottom set versus a straight versus
a gutter. With
pair
pair
gutter.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, what are your thoughts? What's your prediction of how the actions? And you may have seen this hand.
So I actually only saw the end of this hand. I forgot that Osted was even in this hand.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on how the flop's going to go?
So I'm going to guess that small blind checks. So it was 5-6-9. Big blind has the nut straight.
Yep.
Under the gun has a set.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be so man. I don't know the action here. I saw the end of the hand, so I know the result. But I wouldn't be surprised if Joe did some weird lead here.
Yeah, like a small lead.
Yeah, like a small lead. I could see that. But my guess is the action goes check. How much was in the pot?
11.2.
11.2. I'd imagine it goes. And was there a flush draw out there?
Nope.
Okay.
Rainbow.
So I would guess that it goes check 3.5.
Okay. So you got the bet sizing spot on,
Okay.
but it's actually Osted in the small blind that leads.
Oh.
So
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Which kind of I get it a little bit in the sense that he can have all the sets
And he blocks all the hard straights.
Yeah, he blocks the straights. He has a little equity, and it can. His hand is one that, if it's good, it needs protection. And
I'm not going to judge him. I wouldn't make this play, and knowing how good he is.
Yeah, I think it's something that we need to take notes on because
when someone has that kind of success, you want to pay attention to these little things that they do that don't seem standard.
Yes, I fully agree. And so he leads for just under a third pot, and I think his idea.
He bets $3.5 million.
Yeah. So
okay, and then okay. Now I'm going to guess again that it's going to go. C-Rock calls, and I'm going to also guess again. I don't remember how big this pot got up until the point where they got it in, but I'm going to guess that also under the gun Griff calls. So I'm going to guess that both call.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for Sirac, I think the idea here is. He wants to keep Griff
both players in and put money in. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the absolute
if it was like heads up, I think he could start raising.
Or if there was potential, if there was a flush draw on the board as well, he might.
There are less cards he's worried about for sure.
Yeah.
And it just keeps his hand much more disguised.
Okay.
And Griff, I think bottom set, it's good to just call here.
He's thinking the same thing C-Rock is.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to keep both my opponents in, but he also knows he could potentially be cooler here.
He could be. There could be a straight, or
A bigger
there
set.
could be a bigger set.
Yeah.
And again, it's a rainbow board, so it's a little less vulnerable.
After both big blind and under the gun call, if I'm Ostead in the small blind, I'm
You're
probably giving up turns.
You're just hoping an 8 comes, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't, you're done.
Yep,
which-
exactly. Even if a 7 comes, you're like, oh.
Yeah, then you're check calling and hoping.
Yeah.
So the turn is the queen bringing in a full rainbow, so there's no flush draw at all.
Okay, so C-Rock. So I'm going to guess now it goes Ostead checks. I'm going to guess C-Rock checks. And then I'm going to guess. So wait, how much is in the middle? So 3.5. So 9, 10, 11.
21-7.
21-7.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it goes check, and Griff bets 8.5.
Okay, so it is check, but Sirac actually
Chirac
leads it.
leads now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, which I think, makes sense. I think he wants to just
Get value.
get value.
He doesn't want Griff to check back and then, and
Yeah.
then just miss all the turn value he could get.
Yeah. And because Griff can have some, if he has pocket 10s or if he has like 10-9 suited, there's a lot of stuff that's going to check back. And to be fair, if Sirac bets here, maybe that stuff isn't even calling, but he still can think.
I'm going to change my sizing.
Okay.
I'm going to say Sirac goes 12.5.
So he actually goes 11. So
11. I'm right in between. Okay.
Yeah, it's right in between.
Right in between what I said. Okay. And now I'm going to guess that Griff calls.
Yep.
And Ostead folds.
Yep. Yeah. And I think both of
Pretty
those
standard.
are pretty. Yeah, like Griff still has a very strong hand, but when Sirac leads now, he doesn't just have a 9 or something.
I knew Ostead didn't make it to the river in this hand because that's when I came into the hand.
Yep. And so, I think as Griff, for one thing, it's like you're covered, you're on the final table bubble. You're not looking to pile it all in here when he was at least top 5 in chips, maybe even top 3 or 4.
Okay.
But also, your hand is strong, but against, Sirac is saying he has at least 2 pair for value, or he does have all 16 combos of straights available to him too.
Yep.
And you're not looking to get all in here. So the pot is, after the call, it's 44 million, and Griff now has 61 million behind, which is easy to remember because the river is the 4th 5.
Yeah.
So he just
hits
rivers quads.
And C-Rock probably has, 80 million behind or something at this point?
He had like 115 or something, 120. He had
At
a
this
lot.
point, even after all the action so far?
Yeah, before the river.
Okay.
He
This
he
part is
started
where
the
I-
hand with like 130 million.
This is where I stepped into the hand, and I have an opinion,
Yeah, I do too. And obviously it is the sort of thing where we can see what's going on.
Right.
So as Sirac,
It was 44 million, you said, in the middle?
just 44.7,
And
I
then,
believe.
okay, yeah.
And
It's a 0.75 SPR or something like that. For
no, 1.4 ish, because he has 61 million, pots 44.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
So anyway, Sirac, I think it's a good idea to keep betting here, but let's think about how the hand played and what we're targeting. So Griff at this point, when he calls the turn bet, he could maybe have like queen 9 suited or aces or kings.
That's what I'm thinking. He has all the big pairs.
Yeah. Or he could have a set.
Or he could have a set, yeah.
And if we're looking to get value from those on the river,
Not the sets.
right? Not the set, but
big
aces,
pairs.
kings,
We don't
and
want
queen 9 suited.
We want to bet on a paired board, on a 3 straight and a paired board against those hands. We want to bet small.
Yeah. And I guess there.
I mean, not terribly small, but relatively speaking, I would say a size that I think would be good here into 44 million would be something like 18 million.
Yeah, that's sort of what I instinctually was thinking too. A little under half. That being said, like, what is Griff beating? Like, what are Sirac's value bets here that Griff can beat if he has just kings or something?
Okay. 2 pairs, straights.
Yeah, well, he can't beat
Right.
But would he have, I guess, queen 9? Like, kings can beat queen 9 now, at least, because of the paired board. Yeah, because it is, Sirac called, he let out the turn 3 ways, and there's no flush draw, and there aren't he could have some like 10-8 for a bluff or something, but
that's still pretty, anyways.
He's right. So I guess the point is like, if Griff has kings here, like what should he actually be calling?
Okay.
Or what should he be hoping to beat?
Yeah.
When we value bet. I kind of agree though. I think if he has aces or kings and the bottom card pair is the 5, like he'll pay off the river if it's not a huge bet.
Yeah.
But anyways, Sirac goes 35 million into 44.7, I think it was.
Yep. And then Griff sends it.
Yeah, obviously Griff goes all in, and Sirac he looks instantly disgusted.
You could just tell he just melted inside.
Yeah.
This is another reason why we don't need to go that size.
Yeah, like your tournament life, he ends up.
Well, the truth is that not that Sirac would call a jam even if he bet smaller and Griff jam, but like after he bets that size and then his opponent jams, it's just the nuts.
Yes, it's like
it's
queens full.
It can't be a bluff.
It's less
if
than
you find
a
a
min
bluff
raise.
in that spot, because
That
there's no
he somehow
because
floated.
you expect 0 fold equity, right?
Yeah, if sometime he just has the queen 9 suited and turns it into a bluff because he blocks full houses, like good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
But how many people ever do
but then it's clear. But then again, you got to think about your opponent, and Griff is the amateur at the table.
Yeah,
he's not thinking on these. deep
lots of
levels
pros
like
are
that.
not even if people are thinking on that level.
Yep.
They're not going to pull the trigger at this stage almost ever.
Yeah, I'm curious what kind of coaching Griff has been getting, because I was surprisingly impressed by a lot of his play at the final table thus far.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about what, who's been whispering in his ear, where he's getting information from, because,
It's actually been me. I have 10% of it.
How much equity? Oh, 10%.
No.
Okay, that's a nice score. A little summer saver for my boy Wes.
Yeah, I wish.
Okay. So Joe Sirac pukes folds.
Yeah, to his credit, he folds fairly quickly.
Gosh, though, imagine 10 left, you flop the absolute stones and then just lose.
And you're getting action.
And you're getting a big action, and then you just lose. God, that's painful. But that is poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And super frustrating for him. He does still have, like I said, after folding, he still has 80 million. He still's in like 4th place.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. But I do think that river bet he should have saved a little bit.
You could save a nice chunk on that river bet.
Yeah, he could have saved maybe 10 big
Yeah.
blinds.
I think he maybe got a little bit greedy on the paired board.
Yeah, not,
Again, these
not
dudes
that
have-
he should be expecting to be behind that much, but he should be expecting to probably not get value for that size.
Yeah, and it's
Now I'll say if the river was like a 3, I really like that sizing, because now you still have the nuts and you can get paid by all the sets for that size.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Right. But the board's paired now.
Yeah.
And you have a straight.
So
And there's 10 left in the main event. And you've had a lot of action up to that point with no flush draws available.
yeah. No, well said.
Can't even talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good hand. I love that. So this is why the main event is so fun, especially that's a cooler.
It's a cooler, but there are also a lot of interesting decisions. And
Let's move to Joe Sirac's demise.
okay, so this is your first hand.
This is my first hand. There's there's 8 left in the main event. Let's see here. Let's think about ICM for a minute. So Joe Sirac starts the hand with 40 million, 39.7 million. Looking through the numbers right now, it looks like he has a stack that's at 17 million. Another stack that's there's a stack at 17 million, which he has he's way over that. He's got a stack at 51 million. He's not far behind. A stack at 57 million. He's not far behind. So he's second to last in chips, but not by, a lot of them are pretty close.
Yep. So he's 7th out of 8 right now.
7th out of 8th, and but 8th is very short with exactly 10 or with
8.5.
8.5 bigs. Yeah. So, at this point, we want to be slightly cautious, because obviously, it's whatever. I think a $500,000. It's either a $250,000.
This one's $250,000. The next pay jump is
$500,000.
$5.
Yeah. So $250,000 pay jump if we wait for Gonzalez to bust. Excuse me. So the action on this one starts off with Griff under the gun with 156 million at 2 million big blinds. So he's got piles. He has 2 red 7s. He opens under the gun to 4 million.
Perfect.
Makes sense. Now, this is where things are interesting. It makes complete sense to me, but I feel like a lot of players that aren't experienced aren't going to do what Ostedt did here. So it folds from under the gun all the way to the small blind, which is Ostedt with 122 million. So him and Griff are 1 and 2 in chips, I believe. Is that right?
That's right.
Yep. So they're 1 and 2 in
By
chips.
quite a bit. It looks like third
Yeah.
place is 78 million.
Here's the thing: when you're at a final table with pay jumps this big, with the 2 big stacks don't have a lot of incentive to clash.
Yes.
They don't want to, play a big pot against each other because they're guaranteed so much money just by letting other people bust. And they can also exploit all these other players who are in the middling stacks because of the short stack. So their goal is to just kind of find, ICM exploits. Anyways, moving forward, Ostedt has pocket 2 red queens in the small blind.
Yeah. So this is interesting because usually you think, oh, queen's automatic 3-bet, right?
Right, automatic 3-bet. No. I think ICM-wise, this is a perfect example of what I was just mentioning. Ostedt, who's that, the very successful online pro, potentially the best in the world online.
Yep.
He flats the 2 queens out of the small blind. So out of position, has 2 queens, and just flats it.
Yeah, and I was actually, at first I had a moment where I was surprised, but then I completely get it because 1, you're up against the one guy who has you covered, and 2, you're also against an under the gun range.
An under the gun raise, yep. So which is supposed to be tighter, right?
It's
Queens still have a very large portion of that, but again, I think it's a great spot to just kind of play post flop against another big stack, and not just overinflate it pre.
I agree.
If you had kings, would you 3-bet?
I think I would, or it's the sort of spot where you just play aces and kings as traps and you just don't 3-bet anything.
Okay. Yeah, I can get with that as well.
Yeah, maybe this is a spot where you just do that. And as we see too, Sirac in the big blind has 20 bigs left, and
so he has
maybe it'll induce some stuff from him.
So Griff is under the gun with 2 red 7s, opens to 4 million. Ostedt's in the small blind with 2 red queens flats. They're both the 2 chip leaders. Then there's C-Rock in the big blind with 20 bigs. Again, he's got to stack that 8 bigs, but he's got ace jack O in the big blind. What do you think here? What's your initial thought coming into this spot? Think about ICM. Think about if you were at the main table here. What would you do?
Yeah. Fold, because I know he's got queens.
Yeah.
Boy, this is kind of so I know Griff should be opening. He should be opening pretty wide just because of his ICM, his chip advantage and whatnot. I don't know if he's going to be doing he is more of an amateur, and so
Griff, and at this point his VPIP is pretty high. The final table started off pretty slow, but once they warmed up, they opened up a lot. There's a lot more 3-bets, a lot more opens, and Griff had been opening pretty frequently.
So yeah, ace jack off is right on the cusp where I think ace queen I'm absolutely just ripping in for 20 bigs.
Yep.
And
ace queen off even, yep.
Yeah, actually
more so
even
ace
more
queen
so
off,
ace queen off
because it just plays worse or pre-flop or
Yes.
post-flop, excuse me. Yeah, we've discussed that.
Yeah, and ace jack is for me I wouldn't with ace 10. Ace jack I think I wouldn't mind a jam because I think Griff is just going to have a pretty wide range. Even if his range isn't that wide, he'll still have a lot of hands he can fold.
And then also with Ostedt, I think the same thing. I mean, Ostedt's going to play pocket 8s and up probably the same way all the way up to queens, right?
I would say even lower than that.
6s maybe?
He might play deuces. He just has, he's deep enough.
You think he's set mining for implied value potentially with all pairs?
Yeah, I think so. And then he'll have...
I might just fold pocket deuces, and you know what I mean? But yeah, probably all the way up to 5s, I might just fold. In these spots where anyways.
Yeah.
ICM intention, but...
yeah, and I think with the pairs, it's just if you don't hit a set, you just fold.
Yeah, no set, no bet. Right.
Pretty much.
But like you said, these are the 2 chip leaders that there's a lot of incentive to set mine because of how deep they are.
There is.
Whereas that, you have less incentive to set mine as you're shallower. Say you're in 20, 30 big blind range. I'm just going straight into the muck with hands like pocket sixes or whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
maybe even eights.
And Ostead will have some like suited Broadway type stuff. Maybe 10-9 suited too.
Maybe all the way up to ace queen suited. Or ace king, maybe even ace king if he's flat.
If he's just flat, he might just be playing a no 3-bet strategy.
100% flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I like jamming. I like squeezing with ace jack off.
Yeah, because we got, there's the 8 million from the two other players. We got our blind and ante. It's like there's 12 million in there.
Okay.
We can just take it down.
With the 8.5 big blind stack, though, and a potential to $250,000 pay jump just for folding, are we still incentivized to squeeze here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's one thing if it was like a 2 big blind stack, but Gonzalez, who has the 8.5, like he has fold equity. He's not necessarily on life support. And also, like, it's different that we're the one being the aggressor here. It makes it a lot easier. Whereas, we're incentivized to call off our stack a lot tighter, or we're incentivized to not call off our stack as Sirac. But really, like, we are in 7th out of 8. Like, if we just get coolered here, I don't think it's a disaster.
And then the pickup, if we get it through, is pretty crucial.
Yeah, we're still mostly trying to win the tournament, so I don't think it's substantial enough to where we want to.
Okay. All right. I was curious about your take on that. So thank you for talking that over with me. So C-Rock ends up jamming G-Rock. C-Rock ends up jamming Griff tank fold 7s. I mean, that's a pretty snappy fold with Ostead flatting the small blind, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's it's also a great argument to why Sirac's jam is good. It's like you're folding out some of the actual stronger hands too.
And let me ask you, do you think, I mean, obviously with the conversation we've just had, you might not think this, but once you get through the original razor in most spots, you think that you're already good to go, right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's not necessarily that way because Ostead is flatting even the strongest hands.
Yeah, which that might not occur to me as much in the moment as Sirac. Like once we get through the under the gun razor, I'd be feeling pretty good.
But
in this case,
it
gets snapped off.
Ostead snaps, and what a spot for Ostead.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this entire episode, but that's what they were saying on the stream. So anyways, Queens versus Ace Jack. Ostead holds here and takes a commanding chip lead.
And Sirac goes out in 8th. That's a shame because he was really entertaining to me. He kind of annoyed me at first, but then I was entertained by him.
You know what I appreciate about him is how unapologetically himself he is. You know what I mean? Like he does not care what you think.
Yeah.
But not in like a screw you type of way. It's just this is who I am, and if you don't like me, don't pay attention to me.
Yep. Yeah, he's not in anyone's face about it.
No, not egotistical, nothing. And his reaction when he just kind of tilted his head and stared at the board for a little bit after it was all said and done. And then at the exit interview by Jeff Platt, I think it was. Anyways, doesn't matter who did it, but he's just like. Yeah, Queens has to flat there. Like and he was very well of the situation. Mad props to Joe C-Rock. He is one of those guys who just grinds his whole life. Doesn't have, you can clearly tell he's not a material type of person. Mm-hmm. He grinds because he loves it. I heard him mentioning earlier in the stream, like about people getting upset and stuff like that. He's like, why are you even here if you're not just having the time of your life or having fun? Like that's his main goal.
I love that.
His main goal is just to like enjoy life.
Yeah.
So that, just mad respect to C-Rock for that.
Good reminder. I mean, that's generally how I view it, but man, there's still some times where the frustration seeps in.
It's easy to get jaded in a game like poker where you're losing more than you're winning.
Yep.
In terms,
in tournaments,
and specifically in tournaments, right? So I thought that was a cool hand, a squeeze by Joe. That it's funny. You go into the comments of the YouTube and stuff like that, and people are like, pun.
Yeah, no, I don't
again, keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get yourself there, and then let's see what you do, buddy. I got another hand, one more hand here. Okay.
All right.
So this one is the bust out hand of Mr. Brian Kim. Another one that a lot of
I'm familiar with.
Yeah, this one a lot of people also thought was a punt, and I ultimately agree with it.
Okay.
Okay, so back to it. First off, before we get into this last hand, I just want to give a shout out to Brian King for repping Suited Kings.
Oh man.
If you aren't familiar with this hand, you'll know in a minute what I mean here. So the action starts off with Angelov on the button. There's currently 7 people left in the tournament. Angelov has, 58 million to start the hand. He's on the button with Ace 8-0. He opens the button to 4.6 million. So he sizes it up on the button. I think it's 2.4 big blinds. Is that right? It's
2.3.
2.3 big blinds, right.
Maybe his idea is just, I know both of the blinds are better players than me.
We want to size up and not give him the odds.
To be fair, I don't know much about Angelov, but I know that Kim and Osted are
both
both crushers.
they're high. Yeah, they're both high rollers.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Brian Kim now is in the small blind with 54 million. So Angelov has him slightly covered. So yeah, he's got King 6 of clubs in the small blind with 27 big blinds. He elects to 3-bet the suited king. What do you think about this?
It's sort of a spot where you can go a few different ways. Like some of these suited kings against late position opens.
Lately, it's been very popular.
Yeah, you can do some 3-betting. You can do some flatting, although in this, in a final table sort of spot, I don't like flatting as much, especially with a crusher in the big blind.
Yeah, apply pressure, get him out, and also just get the button to fold his very wide range of hands he's opening.
Yeah, so I kind of let 3-bet.
Do you know the size he took already or no?
He went 11 million. Is that right?
Close, yeah. So he 3-bets to 11.8 million, which I believe is what 5.9 bigs.
Yeah, which I think is, so he started the hand with 26.5.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on.
So, if you guys have listened to a lot of our old episodes, it's kind of important. So, typically people are like, oh, you should size up out of position, etc. In these cases, the reason why we're not sizing up and going 3x and 4x is because of the stack depths. I mean, when our opponents are when we're both in our 20 big blind range, there's no need to size up 3 and 4x. We can get the exact same, the same stuff by, 3-betting 2.4x.
Yep.
Etc. So...
Yeah, and also on final tables with ICM pressure, you can go even smaller than like a chip EV sizing for 26 bigs.
So kind of rule of thumb is your sizings should be more dictated. Well, obviously there's a lot of factors taken into consideration, but mostly by the depth of big blinds you're playing.
Yes.
Okay, so back to the action. Angelov opens the button with Ace 8 offsuit. Brian Kim 3-bets the King 6 of clubs from the small blind. And then the online crusher Ostet is in the big blind with pocket tens. So I think that this is a great 4-bet spot. It's almost a mandatory 4-bet spot. Ostet has 173 million. He's overwhelming chip lead at this point. He's got both of them covered by over 3 times. Mm-hmm. I think we also know that Brian Kim from the small blind has a wide 3-betting range.
Or like probably appropriate, but like includes a lot of weak hands.
Yeah, exactly. Hands such as King 6. I mean, hands that are correct but are wide enough, right?
Yes.
Also, take into consideration, Brian had 3-bet Angelov prior to this, not many hands before, with another weak hold. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but whether or not this information has been relayed is pretty important, right? So he might know. Ostet probably knows this anyways without that information being relayed, right? He knows range as well.
Yep.
So Ostet on 173 million with pocket tens, 4-bets. It's the cold 4-bet. What sizing you going with the pocket tens here?
So this is a good lesson for me because this is a spot where I would look and be like, okay,
just jam it.
Yeah, like they're both under 30 bigs. Like, how am I going to 4-bet to a size without committing?
And
I
then
should just jam.
And then just also maybe reduce variance by getting them both to fold now.
Yeah. That being said, I think the reason that might be a mistake here is because if we 4-bet click it and then Angelov comes in for he just opened. So if he 5-bet jams now, that's like aces, kings, queens.
Yeah. Okay.
Ace, king. Like that's a range we're doing poorly against, and we can actually fold the tens to them.
Right. Whereas if Brian 5-bets, his range, is going to be a little bit wider. The reason being is because Angelov still has Brian, who 3-bet him behind him.
Yes. So Angelov has to have.
So for Angelov to 5-bet here after Brian already 3-bet him, and the button big blind or the big blind 4-bet, tongue twisting here. His range is very, very condensed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So,
So he clicks it, doesn't he?
He clicks it to 18 million. So the sizings go to 4.6 million, 11.8 million, and then 18 million.
So hold on, let me see. So it's like a
2.4 big blinds, 5.9 big blinds, 9 big blinds are the sizes.
Is that even legal? So it went from 4.6 million. It's to 11.8. So it has to be. That's a 7.2 raise. So doesn't he have to make it 19?
That's so weird. Did they allow?
Should we run back?
We're gonna run this clip here, but no, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look here. So we have the clip up here. I'm gonna pause the audio here. One moment. Okay, so we just ran the hand back to get the sizings right, and I believe that Ostedt, when he came with the 18 million, that's not a valid raise, right?
Yeah, if the sizings on the screen on the stream are right, what happened? It went 4.6 to 11.8, which is a 7.2 million raise by Kim.
So it has
and
to be
then
that,
Ostedt
it has to
makes
be that on top. So it has to be the 7.2 on top of the 11.8, right?
Yeah, which would mean 19 million. 19 million would be the absolute min sizing for Ostedt. And it says he went to 18. So I don't know what this is, but like if this is accurate, we just realized that there is a invalid raise size.
Yeah, I wonder if this is actually, I want to go back and look at the chips after we're done recording this episode and see, but we might potentially have an invalid raise size. Not that it would change anything.
Yep. Kim's back in the tournament.
Yeah.
He's just in there tonight.
Yeah. The hand disqualifies. Kim gets every single chip back. Anyways, so Ostedt, back to the action. Ostedt 4-bets to 18 million. Angelov on the button folds ace-8 off.
Yep.
And now Kim has what? He has 11.8 in, and he has, 42.8 back or something like that. 42.
I think it's 41.2.
41.2 back.
Yep.
Thank God for you and being my calculator. Appreciate you. What do we do with suited kings here?
So
we muck it. Don't answer that. We muck it.
Yeah. Well, look, the one argument is like, it's such a good price. Like, can't you just call? But then there's also the ICM factor of like, well, there are basically 5 stacks that are within about 10, 12 blinds of each other at the start of this hand. So like losing any more chips is just,
it's going to be, you're going to,
playing this out of position is going to be so rough.
And then also on, if we were to somehow jam here, it feels like we don't have much fold equity. And Ostedt, I mean, I understand he can potentially be 4-betting light here, but even if he 4-bets, I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing is he has so many chips, whereas if you were to 5-bet with the king 6 suited and he calls, like he's still going to have 120 million behind if he's wrong and loses.
Yeah, he's not going to make any hero folds. He's
4-betting to
I do think he will have some light 4-bets where he's like, the ace-x or whatever type stuff, because this is such a good spot to steal.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and he knows that Ostedt being as good as he is. Is this a punt? So, anyways, it goes back to Kim, and Kim jams all in for 54 million with the king 6 suited. Ostedt gets a count and calls. Is this a punt or is this not a punt?
It feels a little punty. I think it's less punty than it seems.
Yeah, I
don't think I would do it.
Okay. I think that's about as good as I could put it, honestly. Yeah. Like it's not as punty as it seems, but considering the scenario, the elevation of this event, the money for each bust out, it's just a little too aggressive. Maybe something like this earlier in a tournament when there's not ICM implicate.
That's also why it's good though, is because those are all the reasons that Ostedt should be putting pressure on.
Yeah.
And I think, you need to just think of it in terms of this is a tournament with 7 people left. The actual dollar amounts of the payouts don't make a difference to what the strategy should be. I mean, I get that in a practical sense, like, for a lot of people, both of us included, like, another 500K pay jump is still just massive, even if you've already locked up 1.5 million.
Yeah. Tomeo has the right idea. I mean, he's folding queens pre-flop. I saw him fold ace queen off to a single raise, and with however 4 left or 5 left or something.
And he's still in the final 3
with a pile of chips. It's not that those were correct, and it's funny because the queens hand specifically, that was just I would not snap fold queens there.
I didn't see, and I know we're not reviewing that hand. I saw something from, I think it was Ben CB online, that it's actually close.
According to him, but then also, so Tomato, he's being coached by the DTO trainer guy. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, he's a professional player, nerdy looking dude. I can't think of his dang name right now. He's a crusher, four bracelets. Anyways, they questioned him on break. They're like, what do you think about his queens? And he's like, that's a big no.
Yeah. Well, and also it was against Sirac, who's the big stack opening. I mean, you saw he had ace-6 offsuit. It's he'll just have such a wide range that you should just 3-bet it.
So back to the hand here, king-6 of clubs. One thing I do admire is Brian Kim's heart, and that's probably what got him to this point. He goes with it. He goes with what he thinks is right. Mm-hmm. It just didn't work out this time for him, and he ends up bowing out in 8th place,
seventh
place.
Yeah.
So congrats to them. 3 people left. Who do we have left? We have Ostet left in the final 3. We got Griff left in the final 3, and we got Tamayo left. Tamayo left in the final 3, all with a pile of chips. It's going to be a battle tonight that I'm very much looking forward to watching.
Yeah, and by the time everyone hears this, we'll have a main event winner.
Yeah, and we'll maybe talk about the winner next week. We'll see here, but we actually have a meeting coming up here shortly for some potential suited king stuff for the future. So let's go ahead and get this sign-off rolling here. Guys, if you haven't yet, I say this every episode, get in our Discord. We're 100 and almost 90 members deep.
If you're not in there yet, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? It's completely free. At Deuce Nukem on Twitter. Go hit my pinned tweet. There's a link. Join the Discord. Hop in there. If you have any troubles, navigating it, you can always send me a message. I'd be glad to help you out. It's pretty self-explanatory once you figure it out. People are in there every day talking, especially during the main event. We're getting a lot of people live, tweeting, live chatting in our Discord channel about the final table, having fun, learning, all that good stuff. Would love to have you join as well. So hop in there. Send me a message if you have any trouble. With that, we'll go ahead and sign off. Another fun episode, Wes, talking about the main event. Maybe we'll talk about some of the final hands.
There are tons of main event hands from the whole thing we can still go over, and I'm sure there will be some more final table ones.
Lots of cool things coming up for Suited Kings Poker. Looking forward to sharing that with you. They are in the works here. We'll chat with you soon about them. Until then, guys, hope you have a great day.